Morning guys, this is Bolton Fast Track. Today we will cover the sign system topic that is the part of the semiotics and the part of cognitive linguistics as well. So as humans we are social beings and want to share information with others about what goes on in our minds, what we see, believe, know, feel, want to do or are doing now. We can achieve this in many ways. We express our surprise by raising our eyebrows, we can draw the outline of a woman by using our hands, and we can express our thoughts by speaking. All these methods of expressions are meaningful to us as signs of something. In its widest sense, a sign may be defined as a form which stands for something else which we understand as its meaning. For example, raising one's eyebrows is understood as a sign of surprise, whereas blowing one's nose is usually not taken to be a meaningful sign, but it may become one if it is intended as an expression of protest. The three examples given above are illustrations of three possible different types of signs: indexical, iconic, and symbolic signs. And indexical sign or index points to something in its immediate vicinity as it's suggested by the etymology of the Latin word index, pointing finger. The clearest case of an indexical sign is a signpost for traffic pointing in the direction of the next town, such as Bath. The signpost has the meaning, going the direction to get to Bath. But facial expressions such as raising one's eyebrows or furrowing one's brows are also indexical signs. They point to a person's internal emotional states of surprise or anger. An iconic sign or icon provides a visual, auditory, or any other perceptual image of the thing it stands for. An iconic sign is similar to the thing it represents. The road sign that warns a driver to look out for children near school pictures two or three children crossing the road on a zebra crossing. The image is of course only vaguely similar to reality, since at a particular moment only one or any number of children may be running across the street, but its general meaning is very clear nevertheless. The idea of danger caused by animals on roads is also pictured by iconic signs such as images of cows, deer, geese, horses, toads, etc., and pictures of glorious cars, tractors, cycles, cycling paths, rivers, bridges, falling rocks, bends in the road, hardening bands, etc. are usually represented iconically. The above-mentioned gestural drawing of a woman's shape with one's hands or the tracing of a spiral staircase with one's finger are of course also iconical signs. Unlike indexical or iconic signs, a symbolic sign or symbol doesn't have a natural link between the form and the thing represented, but only has a conventional link. The traffic sign of an inverted triangle is one such symbol. It doesn't have a natural link between its form and its meaning. You're right away. The link between its form and meaning is purely conventional. The same applies to military emblems, the pound sign, almost all flags, and of course most of language. Thus there is no natural link at all between the word from surprise and its meaning. The term symbolic are used in linguistics. Is understood in the sense that by general consent people have agreed upon the pairing of a particular form with a particular meaning. This sense of symbolic goes back to the original meaning of the Greek word symbolon, that meant a token of recognition, used between two guests or friends. For example, a ring was broken into two halves, which allowed them to identify each other after a long time by matching the two parts and checking whether they fit together. The two halves of the ring are inseparable, just like the form of a word in its meaning. The scholarly discipline that studies system of signs and all their manifestations is semiotics. Human language is of course the most elaborate system of signs to be studied, but semiotics also looks at other forms of human and non-human communicative behavior, such as gestures, clothing, keeping distance and baring one's teeth, etc. Animals have very sophisticated sign systems too. For example, bees communicate by complex pattern of dances, signaling to other beasts the direction, the distance, and the quantity of a source of honey. Monkeys make use of a system of 9 different cries to express how far and how big a possible danger is. Whales use a system of songs, although biologists have not yet been able to decode their signs. These systems of communication are almost exclusively indexical. For example, a honeycomb bee can communicate to another bee from honey that is in its proximity, but it cannot express that more honey is to be expected in the future. Even the indexical range of signs is limited to the horizontal dimension. An experiment in Pisa has shown that bees were not able to inform other bees at the bottom of the Tower of Pisa about the honey source that had been put at the top. There is a hierarchy of abstraction amongst the three types of signs. Indexical signs are the most primitive and the most limited signs in that they are restricted to the here and now. Yet, indexical signs are very widespread in human communication, for example in body language, traffic, and other signs in areas such as advertising. Most commercial products are too prosaic to be attractive in themselves. They need to be associated with some more attractive surroundings. For example, Marlboro cigarettes are indexically related to the adventurous life of the American cowboy. Iconic signs are more complex in that their understanding requires the recognition of similarity. The iconic link of similarity needs to be consciously established by the observer. The image may be fairly similar as with icons, which are pictures of a holy person venerated in the Russian or Greek Orthodox Church, or they may be fairly abstract or in stylized picture of men and women on toilet doors, or of cars or plants in wall signs. Icons are probably not found in the animal kingdom. Symbolic signs are the exclusive prerogative of humans. People have more communicative needs than pointing to things and replicating things. We also want to talk about things which are more abstract in nature, such as events in the past or future, objects which are distant from us, hopes about peace, etc. This can only be achieved by humans of symbols, which humans all over the world have created for the purpose of communicating all possible thoughts. The most elaborate system of symbolic signs is natural language in all its forms. The most universal form is spoken language. At a certain phase of civilization and intellectual development, a written form of language develops, and people who are deaf have developed a sign language which is largely based on conventionalized links between gestures and meanings. The three types of signs may be represented as index would be based on contiguity, icon would be based on similarity, and symbol would be based on convention. So indexical signs reflect a more general principle whereby things that are contiguous can stand for each other. For example, we strongly associate a piece of art with the artist and hence can say things about, "I'm curious to see the Turners." Iconic signs reflect the more general principle of using an image for the real thing. Farmers have applied this strategy for centuries by putting scarecrows in their fields, which the birds take for real enemies. Symbolic signs allow the human mind to go beyond the limitations of contiguity and similarity and establish symbolic links between the form and meaning. Thus, a rose can stand for love and the owl for wisdom. These three principles of indexicality, iconicity, and symbolicity underlie the structuring of language, which will be the subject of the next section. See you in the next video. Have a nice day.